Welcome back to the Lions and Sports Podcast. I'm Chase Gispert.
I'm Troy Ollie.
And man, we're ready to bring you some more action. Let's start with Lions football. This is episode 6 of our season. We're going to be covering NFL Week 4, but also your Southeastern Lions. So let's jump into them. 0-4, disappointing loss last week to HCU. I'm not going to pile up too much. I think the schedule is really tough. We played 2 FBS teams, Mississippi State, South Alabama, and then at Eastern Washington. It's an FCS, really one of the better programs or best programs in the FCS. This was the first game where it felt like, damn, we should have won that one.
Yeah.
In fairness, I called the game. HCU, I got the chance to interview their coach on Zoom. He said they went in the portal and got 25 guys, so that does make a huge difference. And I'll tell you, they had some serious people on defense. They had 2 first-team preseason All-Southland selections at defensive line and linebacker, and it showed up. Our offensive line was thought to be the best in the conference, or one of for sure. They kind of got abused by that HCU D-line, not going to lie. And, man, vice versa, too. They just won the line of scrimmage. I want to say, maybe take into account the travel. We traveled over 2,000 miles in 3 weeks. Coming home, you might kind of relax. Oh, HCU, they're not that great a program on paper. Picked dead last, actually, by the media in the conference. Now, I will say they're a lot better than that. I don't think they're going to finish last. But, 0-4, so obviously far less than ideal start. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you said, definitely not a great start for Southeastern. And you talk about, getting dominated on the line of scrimmage. Well, I attended the press conference, and Coach Seffel said, they couldn't run the ball how they wanted to, and that really showed. Only 72 rushing yards for Southeastern. And while they also gave up 539 yards worth of total offense. More specifically, talking about getting dominated on the line of scrimmage, they did give up 289 rushing yards to HCU.
A lot in that second half.
Yeah, a lot in that second half, including a 50-yard outburst to really just put the game away. And going back to some of the other opponents, we gave up 177 to Eastern Washington, 248 rushing yards to South Alabama, and 298 to Mississippi State. So for the total season, the defense is giving up 253 rushing yards per game. So just not an ideal start for the defense, especially on that line of scrimmage for Southeastern. Yeah, just a poor showing. So looking at the rest of the schedule and stuff like that. We do play Tarleton State this coming Saturday at 3 p.m. in Strawberry Stadium. Tarleton State, they're off to a really good start. They're 3-1 through 4 games, averaging 33 points per game. So, and obviously you don't want to overlook, any opponent, what I'm saying? So, should be a good game. It is a gold out. I am expecting us to win, though. Obviously, 0-4, got to play with some desperation now. And basically just got to win out the rest of the season, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. Certainly that was the conference opener. We lost that. I guess you could win the conference with 2 losses, but you'd have to have a tiebreaker and kind of be fortunate with the head-to-head in there. UIW looks for real again. So, I think you're right. You probably do have to win out, which is going to be a tall order, but it starts one game at a time. Now, Tarleton State, they are non-conference. This is the final non-conference game of the schedule, kind of a tune-up game. They're 3-1. They are a solid kind of up-and-coming program. Seems like all those smaller Texas schools that are moving up, they just recently moved up the FCS from Division II, I believe, in the 2020-21 season. So they beat McNeese, though. I'm not sure how great McNeese is this year, but they beat them 52-34 in Lake Charles Week 1. That's a Southland Conference opponent, one of Southeastern's rivals. They beat North Alabama 52-31. I believe we played them, Southeastern, either last year or the year before, and we beat them too. But still, they did get blown out by Texas Tech. But that's like the same as us playing Mississippi State.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 41-3, and then they beat Southwestern Baptist 27-13 last week. So they're 3-1. We're 0-4. On paper, I think we have more talent. We should win now. We said that last week, and look what HCU did. I think the first half, I mean, it's kind of cliche to say, but I really do think the first half will be indicative, though, because against HCU, it's like we fell way behind, got down 24-6, and we did chip into the lead, but we just never really recovered. I believe we gave up 20 or 17 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
That just can't happen again, and it was a lot. Okay. Yeah, but okay, I was thinking 17 because they scored on their first 3 drives, but still, yeah, I mean, a lot of explosive plays given up in the passing game too, which has been concerning. I think the departures, some of the guys that graduated, the seniors last year, Philando Jordan, I think a 3-time first-team All-Southland selection, arguably one of the greatest players that ever come through Southeastern at cornerback. He's in the XFL now. Then Donnell Ward-McGee was a really solid safety. He started multiple years. He was an underrated part of that defense. I believe he was an All-Southland selection at least like 1 year. So losing him, and then Zy Alexander and Jack Henderson to the portal. I mean, you got some young guys, but they need to step up. I think the youth is showing.
Yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, I do think we'll win, but nothing's going to be guaranteed the rest of the way.
Nothing's guaranteed.
I mean, I really feel like this is a must-win. I mean, you're 0-4, you got to get on the board. It's not conference, so, I mean, technically you could lose and then win out and still only have one Southland loss.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just don't think it's a good look at all. Back-to-back home games against teams on paper you're supposed to be coming into the season.
Exactly.
Got to take care of business. I am confident they will. I still have a lot of faith in Coach Selfa. I think he's a great coach.
Same here.
I do honestly, I was kind of, to be honest, my initial reaction, I know they were returning some people, but we lost some upperclassmen and some key guys to the portal with Zy, Jack Henderson, Gage Larvadane, who I checked a couple weeks ago. He was leading the NCAA in receiving yards at Miami, Ohio. So, I mean, losing, key impact players, I didn't feel that we were going to repeat after last year. We also lost Cephas, our quarterback. I know Eli played a good bit, but Cephas was kind of the veteran. I thought it was a little lofty expectations that we were picked to repeat. Got some alert on our computer. Remind me later. But yeah, I thought it was a little lofty expectations. We were picked to repeat as champs. I mean, we're not mathematically eliminated. We're only 0-1 in conference, even though we're 0-4 overall. But doesn't seem like we're going to repeat. But I'd like to see us at least just salvage the season and not it be a total disaster.
Just finish with above 500 record at this point, basically. Especially after that brutal start, and then just repeatedly shooting ourselves in the foot versus HCU.
Yeah.
The first drive of the game, they went down and scored, and then we had that really great kickoff, got us some good field position, and then Eli fumbled it on the goal line. Luckily, we did recover in it. Very lucky to recover it, but then I kicked out blocked. I kicked out blocked, and then they went down and scored.
First play. 86 yards.
Yeah, first play. It looked like a slant too from where I was standing.
It was. I was looking at him dropping back when I was in the press box, but it looked kind of like a deep slant or maybe a little skinny post, but he beat the corner and then the safety tried to come over, but he just couldn't outrun.
Seen it all to So just a very, very, very unfortunate game. I was getting kind of excited whenever the score was 24-19. I'm like, okay, cool. Gave me a little flashbacks of last year to Idaho, where we got down 21-10 and then came back. But that just wasn't the case. But anyway, moving on to week 3 of the NFL. We do have the Dolphins hanging 70 points on the Denver Broncos.
Goodness. Yeah, and that's, you heard him right, 70 points if anybody missed that over the weekend.
Insane.
Most points in a game, I think, since 1968.
Yep, the record is 72.
And that was before the merger. Yeah. And the Dolphins kneeled, by the way, in field goal range to end the game. A lot of people were wanting them to kick.
Same here.
I kind of did too.
Me included.
Yeah.
But to put a little bit more context, they scored 70 points with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So they had time to score that touchdown, maybe even get 80.
Yeah,
right. But Mike McDaniel's like, nah, we're just gonna chill out for right now. But if I'm not gonna lie, if that was me, and I saw we were that close to a record, I'm going for it.
I would have kicked the field goal.
Same. Yeah.
And again, too, you can look up the stats. They had well over 700 yards of total offense, 10 touchdowns. I mean, pretty sure they drove for they may have had 1 or 2 turnovers, but I mean, they pretty much earned almost every single point.
Yeah.
Driving the length of the field.
I don't think they punted either, huh?
If they did, it was one time, but I don't think they did once. And in the second half, they were literally just running. They were not even trying to throw. Tyreek Hill had 190 receiving yards at halftime. I don't think he got 1 target in the second half.
Tua barely played second half.
Yeah, they were just running it, and still the Broncos couldn't stop them.
Exactly.
So that was crazy. Now the Broncos and the Bears play, and I guess the Mean Bowl, or whatever you want to call it, in Chicago. Both 0-3. A lot of issues with both squads. But yeah, I mean, that was certainly worth mentioning. Dolphins look for real. I think they're a legit Super Bowl contender for sure now. But going into the season, kind of thought that. But yeah, I mean, through 3 weeks, they look fantastic. And
100%.
They have a huge showdown now with the Bills on the road, who's been the best. They kind of run that division the last 3-4 years since they've had Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Really would. I agree. I think the Dolphins are easy Super Bowl contenders. Obviously, hoping no more injuries happen. This is kind of reminiscent of last year. I think the Dolphins were 3-1 through the first 4 games, and then injuries upon injuries just hit that squad.
Yeah, Tua specifically with the concussions.
Yeah, Tua specifically. But speaking of injuries, Derek Carr, he did go down early in the second half versus Green Bay, up 17-0. And for a little while, it was looking like they were going to hang on. And then 18 points scored by Green Bay in the fourth quarter, and you lose 18-17. As a Saints fan, watching that game, how do you feel?
Pretty painful. Not surprised. I mean, I've been burned many of times by the Saints, but I mean, I love Jameis Winston. As a person, I think he's a great guy. Didn't really play that well in relief. Now, I actually do think he could back up or kind of have a bounce back game against his former team, the Buccaneers in the Dome. But yeah, I mean, I know you complain a lot about Matt Canada as a Saints fan. I'm not a huge fan of Pete Carmichael. To me, they're both old offensive coordinators that need a little younger mind in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Jameis has been inconsistent. I think that's probably the best word to sum up his NFL career. But, I mean, we literally scored 0 points when he was in the game.
Exactly.
And now, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of in and out, watching. But, I mean, I don't. He's not that bad to where we shouldn't have been able to score any points at all. And then our defense finally tired out. I mean, they shut him out. They literally scored we lost 18-17. We were up 17-0 after 3 quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
They scored all 18 points in the fourth.
Yeah, you got to win.
And then we did get in field goal range. The rookie kicker, Groupie or whatever his name is, he missed I think a 47, 48 yarder. I mean, usually you'd hope you'd make that if you're an NFL kicker, but obviously, I mean, you can't get on him too much. It's a pretty long field goal.
Yeah.
But
the good thing is though, Kamara is coming back for week 4 against the Bucks. So hopefully Kamara can sort of open up that offense a little bit, make things a little easier for Jameis. Olave took that next step. He was great his rookie year. Yeah. He definitely took another step forward. So you have Olave. MT is healthy too. He might hopefully he plays a full season.
Right.
So there are some bright spots to the Saints. Obviously, plus it is a super easy division.
Right.
Bucks might be a little more competitive than what we thought, but
I'm still not really worried about anyone.
Yeah. Exactly. I know Atlanta. I think Atlanta's 2-1, but
they lost to the Lions last week.
Yeah.
They have Desmond Ritter at quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm not really concerned. Now, speaking of quarterback, just the update, y'all. Derek Carr, so it is an AC joint sprain, is what his injury's been classified as. kind of dodged the bullet because I'm not gonna lie, I was fearing it could be season ending.
Yeah.
And our season was just going to be down the drain. But he's kind of being vague about it. They said they haven't even ruled him out yet, I don't think, for this week. But, I mean, I'd be shocked if he played. But he's probably week by week. He'll probably miss like 2 to 3 weeks, but they don't want to rush him back. But, I mean, that we dodged the bullet for sure with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because I'm not saying he's the greatest QB in the world, but I think he's definitely better than Jameis. Mm-hmm. And he's not pretty. I mean, his stats are pretty efficient when he's been in this year.
Yep. And speaking of quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, they did get the win on Monday Night Football against the Rams, but he was clearly still hurt.
Yeah, it was not pretty to watch at all. He was checking it down.
Yeah, a lot. Chase, though, for all you fantasy owners, he did have a good game.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, 12 catches, $141. But other than Chase really going off, there was not much to be proud of from that Cincy offense. The drive stalled out a lot. I thought watching that game in the first quarter, I was like, okay, they're driving the ball down the field, and then they would just stall out. Burrow had like 31 pass attempts in the first half. And I think not one of them reached like 20 air yards. I saw
his first 12 pass attempts were all under 10 air yards. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't like, as a Burrow fan myself, I didn't like watching it at all. To me, I mean, obviously, I'm not an NFL exec or head coach by any stretch of the imagination, but to me, the simple eye test, he doesn't look healthy at all.
No.
And to me, he's your franchise. I get that we're 0-2, now you're 1-2. Maybe they feel like their window's closing. This is their year to win the Super Bowl. But I think you got to be smart. I mean, to me, sooner or later, he's going to really injure his calf even worse than it already is. Yeah. And then what? Then he's going to be out for the season. Could be detriment. He's had health issues already. Mm-hmm. He blew his knee out his rookie year. When he had, appendix removal or something last year. Like, I don't think it's anything to play with when he's literally your franchise in your hands. So I don't agree with him playing at all. I know he's a competitor. I'm sure he's like, oh, I'm good to go. But to me, you gotta sit him. But that's not what they're doing. So I mean, and their downfield attack is what made them so good. Like one of the best offenses in the league, and it's like he's playing with a hand tied behind his back.
Exactly.
He looks so timid back there with his calf. It's like he can't really step into his throw, so he's just checking it down. Yep. And, I mean, you got Jamar and T. Higgins. I mean, their strengths are going down the field and making plays. So.
Yeah, and to touch on that a little bit, people equating their start this year to last year. Last year, they were 0-2,
right.
And then it went 14-2 the rest of the way. But last year, Burrow was healthy. This year, he's clearly not healthy. And whenever you have that calf injury, it also puts strain on the Achilles, and the Achilles is the last thing you want to pop for any professional player.
Yeah, it's probably the worst injury you could have.
Yeah, exactly. So Bengals definitely got to be careful with that. So heading into our next topic, we're going to touch on our picks from last week.
So this man retains the line.
Yes, sir. Went 11-5 in back-to-back weeks.
I went 10-6 back-to-back weeks. So he's ahead of me by one game overall, 2-1.
Yep.
So congratulations there. It's been pretty close. But come up short yet again.
Oh man, but I'm glad it's close though. I'm glad it's
I
close.
know. Makes it more entertaining.
The game that definitely surprised me the most was probably that LA Minnesota game in terms of who won. Especially watching that game, Chargers went for it on 4th and 1, and from their own 25-yard line, I think something like that.
Really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah. It was a bad play call, and then Kirk Cousins throws a pick in the red zone. So
negated.
Yeah. So it didn't matter at the end of the day. But my Steelers did win, though, so I'm most happy about that.
Yeah.
My Steelers winning against the Raiders. I said it was going to be close, and it scared me a little bit in the last 5 minutes. But, I'm just happy we kind of won. And C.J. Stroud, He's averaging over 300 yards per game so far as a rookie in his first couple games. That's just insane.
Yeah, he's balling.
Last week was 20 of 30 for like 280 something yards and like 2 touchdowns, something like that. Just had another great game. Just making tough throw after tough throw, and he's really impressed me so far. He's on pace for like 5K yards. His rookie season, on pace for 5K yards.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't look like a rookie.
No,
for sure.
He doesn't. Not at all. And then we got our week 4 picks real quick. You want to give?
Yeah, sure. So our first game is tomorrow night, Lions versus Packers at Lambeau. Thursday Night Football, little interdivision matchup. Trying to go on my phone and see the exact time. I'm sure it's around 7.
Yeah, I think like 7:15, something like that.
Yeah, 7:15 on Prime, Amazon Prime Video. Detroit's a slight 1.5 point favorite on the road. I think it'll be a really close game. I think it'll be lower scoring than people think, but I am going to go Lions. I know they beat them at Lambeau last year. May have been the first time in a while. I think they're just a better team. I think the Packers, unbiasedly, were kind of lucky to come back on the Saints last week. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Detroit in that one.
Yeah, same here. Going with the Lions. I think they're. I like Dan Campbell a lot as a coach. Goff is an efficient quarterback. Yeah, they have a lot of depth on offense. So yeah, give me the Lions. And then my hot take, or one of my hot takes for this week is I had the Falcons over the Jags to bring the Jags to a record of 1-3.
3, yeah.
Yeah, 1-3. That's my little hot take of the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jags. And by the way, that's the first international game of the season. It's in London, 8:30 a.m. kickoff.
Yep.
I'm trying to see what channel. Yeah, I think you have to stream it. It says ESPN Plus. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jags. Shoot, I keep picking them and they keep losing, but I think they finally bounce back and avoid a 3-game losing streak because they started 1-0. But man, I don't know what's up with Trevor Lawrence. I have Calvin Ridley in 2 of my fantasy leagues, and it's really hurting him. Because the Jags, I thought they were dark horse Super Bowl contenders almost going into the season, or at least playoffs for sure. But they definitely need to figure some stuff out. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jags, but shoot, at this point, I don't even know. I'm gonna stick with them now. Then our next game, Saints at home against Tampa Bay at noon. Give me the Saints in the Dome. I'm sure it'll be a close game as it always is with Tampa Bay. But I'm gonna say Jameis gets a little revenge on his former franchise and actually plays well.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna go reverse. Bucks over Saints. I don't know. I feel like Mike Evans is gonna have a big game. That's it.
I wonder if him and Marshawn are gonna get in a fight again.
Most likely.
Probably.
If they get into a fight,
dude,
they're gonna get suspended.
I feel like that's one of the most underrated rivalries in the NFL, just between players. They literally go at it every single year. And they get to play twice, so yeah. There's genuine disliking for sure.
And you don't see that much nowadays in sports. Because there's rivalries on the field, they linking up off the field, stuff like that. But these two, they genuinely hate each other.
Yeah, I want to see how. I'm sure the refs are gonna be real. I want to see how much leeway, or if any, they probably won't give any at all. I'm sure they're gonna be all on top of it, but there's gonna be jaw and who knows what else. 100%. So next game, this is one of the most intriguing games of the week. You have the undefeated 3-0 Dolphins against the 2-1 Buffalo Bills. The Bills have really ran the AFC East the last 3 seasons. I want to say they've won that division.
Yeah,
they've been the perennial team, but the Dolphins now got Tyreek Hill a year ago. You already drafted Jalen Waddle. Tua's coming into his own. The offense is exploding. Just put up 70 points. They're on the road against the Bills. Give me the Bills. I think it'll be a close game. I actually do still think the Dolphins will win the division, but I'm going to pick Buffalo to beat them at home. I just think they're kind of the more seasoned team, and I think they're going to take it personally with the Dolphins getting all this love, but we'll see.
This person.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with the Fins. I think they're going to continue to ride a hot wave. that they're on this season. If you look back at that playoff game last year, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins had Skylar Thompson at QB, and they was able to make it a good game. So with the healthy Tua and Jalen Waddle coming back as well, I'm rocking with the Finns over the Bills. It'll definitely be a close game though. All division games are pretty close. So, but yeah, just give me Finns over Bills. It's a bit of a high scoring close game. I'm gonna go 33-27.
Yeah, I could see it being something like that. I actually like that score. I'm gonna say 33-27, but the Bills. So next, this is the meme bowl as we kind of previewed. 0-3 Broncos coming off giving up 70 points, losing by 50, or actually just to show you how dysfunctional the Chicago Bears have been. The Broncos are playing at Chicago, and they are 3.5-point favorites.
Mm-hmm.
On the road, 0-3 after giving up 70 points in their last outing. That is how bad the Bears are this year. So I'm going to go with the Broncos, having said that. Kind of sneak peek into our starts. I like Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy stacked this week, actually. I think they have a nice outing and put up some points on the lowly Bears.
Yeah.
And I say the Broncos get their first win.
Yeah, same here. I agree. Again, a little sneak peek at my little hot take. But, yeah, I definitely see Russell Wilson having a big game over the Bears. The Bears they suck, man. They're
bad.
Yeah.
Tanking for Caleb Williams.
that people keep talking about the Cardinals. They should be the ones tanking for Caleb Williams.
They should.
But heading into an AFC North matchup, we have Ravens and Browns. I forget who's at home.
It's at Cleveland.
At Cleveland. So I do have the Browns over the Ravens simply because of my sneak peek of my fantasy. I think Elijah Moore is going to pop out that game for the Browns. Give me the Browns over the Ravens in a close game. You just never know in the AFC North, but that's what I'm rocking with.
I'm gonna roll with Baltimore. I think they're the better team. I think Lamar's starting to play good. I know it's on the road, but I'd have to look at the all-time or the record recently, but I know the Ravens. I mean, I'm sure they are way ahead in that series. I just like them this week. They shocked me, to be honest. They lost to the Colts at home last week. I think they get a bounce back in Cleveland. That's actually my upset of the week too, because they're underdogs. And then moving to your Steelers against the Texans. I think that's the last noon game. Or no, actually there's a few more on the slate here. But Steelers-Texans, that's going to be a good game. Steelers 2-1, Houston 1-2. C.J. Stroud, fresh off upset in Jacksonville on the road. I wouldn't be surprised either way. That's a tough game, but I am going to roll with the Steelers. I think they, as bad as we think Matt Canada is, I mean, they had as much success as they've had all season. He ran the ball a lot more versus Las Vegas. I think they have enough, and I think T.J. Watt harasses Stroud enough into maybe having a rookie mistake or two. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say the Steelers win that.
Yeah, I agree. I do think this is a game where C.J. Stroud looks like a rookie against our defense, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if the Texans won and C.J. threw like 250 and 3 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't surprise me. But I am picking the Steelers though. Gotta ride with my guys. I do have Cincy over the Titans.
Yeah, I have that too.
The Titans are just bad, really inconsistent. I like Vrabel as a coach, but give me the Bengals over the Titans.
I agree.
And then we have Colts and Rams. That's really a tough
one. In Indy, I think Anthony Richardson. Don't quote me on this. I think he's supposed to be back. I know he missed last week with a concussion, but they still beat Baltimore. I don't even know who even is their backup.
Gardner Minshew.
I was okay, Minshew. I thought
Minshew.
Yeah,
Minshew Mania.
Yeah, Minshew Mania, whatever. Man, that lasted like a few weeks of like a few years ago. I remember in Jacksonville. That was funny. Everybody was wearing mustaches. But back on topic, I like the. I'm sorry, I think you actually were going to pick the Colts. I like the Rams in this one. I mean, it's on the road, kind of another toss-up game, but give me the Rams and Matt Stafford.
Then we got Philly and versus Commanders. Even though Philly offensively, especially in the pass game, hasn't been the same as last year, but overall they're just a far better team than the Commanders. So yeah, give me Philly.
I'm gonna take the Eagles. I didn't mean to pick for you. So you picking the Colts, right?
Oh yeah. I got the Colts over the Rams and
Just
then Philly over Commanders.
I got the Rams over Colts, but I agree with you with the Eagles pick.
All right. We do have Vikings and Panthers. I got Vikings over the Panthers. First win.
It's in Carolina. Both teams are 0-3. Not as that surprising that Carolina's 0-3, but I think a lot of people are surprised that the Vikings are 0-3. Yeah. I think they get their first win finally and are score. I think they have too much firepower on offense for Carolina to keep up.
Yep. Heading into the Chargers and Raiders, another divisional matchup. I know a few years ago this was like a very back and forth game. Came down to the wire with the Raiders blowing that late lead and Justin Herbert converting like 4 straight 4 and 10s. Yeah. And the Raiders actually won that game to send the Steelers to the playoffs that year too.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
the Chargers wouldn't take a tie. Was that?
Yeah. If they tie, they're both making. We miss it. But if either of them won, then we make it.
I still have no idea how Brandon Staley kept his job.
Same here. But fast forward to present day. Give me the Chargers. I don't like Jimmy G as a QB. I think he's been overrated.
He's average at best, really below average.
So give me the Chargers. And then we got Cowboys.
I agree. Yeah, give me LA Chargers for that.
Yeah. Then we do have Cowboys and the Patriots. Give me the Cowboys. I know they're coming off a bad loss, but if there's one team to come back and get their groove back, I think it's the Pats.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cowboys at home. They had a really bad loss at Arizona last week, but I think they bounced back at home and take care of business against the Patriots. And then so those are the afternoon games. Sunday Night Football. I'm sorry, actually we have one more afternoon game. This is my lock of the week. The high-flying San Francisco 49ers 3-0 against the 1-2 Cardinals. Cardinals got their first win, massive upset. Biggest upset over the weekend, beating the Cowboys, but I think the magic ends. Give me the Niners in San Francisco quite convincingly over the Cardinals. That's my lock of the week.
Yep, and to piggyback off of that, I do have Niners over the Cardinals as well. And my lock of the week is actually the Chiefs over Jets. Yeah. This was supposed to be a fun game between
Sunday Night Football.
Yep. I wish they could flex this for Bills and Fins.
Seriously.
Because we all know that's going to be a good game. It's a shame Fins and Bills is at 1 o'clock or 12 for us.
Right.
But yeah, give me KC over Jets. I'm going to say last week I got the score nearly correct, 41-10. I said 40-10. I'm picking the same thing, 40-10 over the Jets. And to close it out, we do have Seahawks and Giants. Give me the Hawks over the Giants on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Monday Night Football. It's in New York. I know NFL teams are used to travel, but traveling literally from Seattle to New York, all the way across the country. I don't know. The Giants really haven't showed me much, but I think Seahawks are a better team. But I'm gonna say the Giants get the win at home on Monday Night Football in a close game. And then I also agree with you. I think the Chiefs beat the Jets. I'm curious if they bench Zach Wilson because there's kind of rumors that a lot of the players are almost turning on Coach Robert Saleh for kind of having so much faith in Zach Wilson when he's obviously just not very good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if they have a QB change. Maybe they play Inspire, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Chiefs, even though they're at home.
Yes, I agree.
And then, so that does it for our picks. Again, my lock is Niners over Cardinals. And then my upset's Ravens over Browns. If you'd like to reiterate your locks and upsets.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, yeah, my lock of the week is Chiefs over Jets 40-10. And my upset of the week is Falcons over Jaguars in a close battle, 21-17.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then ice cold takes. I'm gonna stick with that game, but go on the opposite side. Burn me the last 2 weeks, but hey, T-Law, Trevor Lawrence, I think he finds himself again. I'm gonna say he puts up 350 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley goes for 150 and a touchdown. and the Jags handle the Falcons across the pond.
Yep.
Hopefully for my fantasy that happens.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
And for my ice cold take, I do have Russell Wilson dominates the Bears. 350 yards,
like
3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and the Broncos win convincingly 35-7 over the lowly Bears. That's what I have for my ice take. And then we can get into starts and sits real quick.
Yeah.
My starts for the week is Tony Pollard versus Patriots. I see him having a big game. He had a great game last week versus the Cardinals too. Again, I believe Jerry Jeudy, he's playing versus the Bears, so I do see him and Russell Wilson having that big connection. I see Jeudy going for 120 plus and like 2 touchdowns. Elijah Moore over the Ravens. What the Ravens love to do is take away like your best player, and the best player to me on the on the Browns is Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Elijah Moore is going to get a lot of targets, and he's going to have a productive day versus the Ravens. And obviously Russell Wilson versus the Bears is a start for me, and possibly Evan Ingram. And then sits is Matthew Stafford versus the Colts. Just coming off 2 straight bad weeks. Yeah. I don't know how he's going to perform.
That O-line got demolished, and the Colts, I believe, got 12 sacks. I read they're second in the league in sacks, so
exactly.
He's going to be running for his life again.
Dalton Schultz versus the Steelers just hasn't been productive.
No.
None all this season. And Stroud really favors Tank Dell and
it's weird.
Collins.
Stroud, you would think coming into the year, I didn't like Schultz, but I just thought rookie quarterback, you don't know who's going to throw to, which, has been the case, but he's been really impressive, as we mentioned, Stroud, but he's just throwing the Dell and Nico Collins a lot and not really targeting the tight end, so... Yeah, I agree with that one. You can't play him, especially against the Steelers.
Then we have 2 Jets here, Brees Hall versus the Chiefs. Like I said, I had that as a blowout, and whenever it's a blowout, you as a team just not gonna perform whole. And then obviously Garrett Wilson versus the Chiefs. Not because obviously I think Wilson is a phenomenal receiver. It's just the guy throwing to him.
Right.
So Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, 2 Jets are going to be sit versus the Chiefs.
Yeah, and then to wrap it up quickly, many little Saints Buccaneers preview. Obviously, division game. Saints are 2-1. Both teams are 2-1. Actually, we started 2-1 or 2-0. Both teams did. Saints should be 3-0, but blew a 17-0 lead last week. Lost their quarterback. I picked the Saints. You picked Buccaneers. I think it'll be a close game regardless. Do not get up to go to the bathroom because you never know when Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans are going to be throwing hands. During
exactly.
Which happened last year. But, anyway, I mean, that game's on noon. It'll be Fox local channel. I mean, hopefully the Saints get on track. I think this is a huge key early game to who has the inside track to winning the NFC South.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree. Yeah. It's going to be a close... It's going to be a close, really fun game between both teams. Obviously, I think they're 2 best teams in that division.
Yeah,
even though
Carolina's 0-3, and Desmond Ritter, I just don't see.
I don't see the Falcons hanging around 500 for the rest of the season. So, the Buccaneers they are competitive. The Saints have a pretty solid roster, top to bottom. Even with Carr missing the next couple of games, I do believe Jameis could play some solid football.
Yeah,
and as I stated earlier, Olave took that next step. They also have Kamara coming back, MT looking healthy. So
and Rashid Shaheed.
Exactly. Can't forget Rashid Shaheed. Cannot forget Rashid Shaheed. So that's just my thoughts on the game. It's gonna be a close game, but I do have the Buccaneers edging out the Saints by like 3 points. It'll be
I'm gonna say Saints win 20-17.
That's fair. I'm gonna go in the same score, just opposite direction, 2017. 20-17 for the Bucks. Game-winning field goal type stuff.
So, again, obviously Saints on noon at Fox local channel. But more importantly, not to slight the Saints, but we do go to Southeastern Louisiana University this Saturday, Tarleton State at home. 3 p.m. kickoff, gold out, so wear your gold. If you can't make the game for some reason, you can watch it on ESPN+, but I think really the team needs you 0-4. We need that first win. We need to pack the berry and have it loud. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Lions Den Sports
sir.
Podcast. I'm Chase Gispert,
And I'm Troy Allen.
and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.